I'm gonna share with you guys how to take your glutes from this to this without a BBL, and I'm gonna share with you all the mistakes I made to avoid on your glute growth journey. Now, if you implement any of these tips into your fitness routine and you start seeing some results, be sure to hit that subscribe button, show some love, and comment some of the progress you got following these tips. Okay, let's get right into this episode. Now, very briefly, if you want to build any muscle at all, this is kind of how it works at the very simplest terms. You go to the gym, you put your muscle under stress, you push it to the point of failure, you create micro tears in your muscle, and you kind of tear the muscle apart. Then when you get home, you're gonna refuel yourself with calories, you're gonna give yourself some protein. That's gonna kind of get the repair process kick-started and ready to go. Then with rest and recovery, you're gonna further repair that muscle. As this process repeats, we're gonna break them down, build them back up, break them down, build them back up. And as they build back up, they're going to get larger. This is known as hypertrophy. And even if you're not looking to build your glutes, these tips can be used for building any muscle on your body. So first and foremost, you need to be eating at least at a calorie maintenance, meaning you are eating enough calories to maintain your current body weight. But to take that step further, I recommend eating in a small calorie surplus. This means eating slightly more calories than your body needs. This is gonna put you in the perfect environment to allow your body to grow. Especially if you're hitting heavy lifting sessions, you're gonna need these calories to help further recovery, repair those muscles, and build them back up as quick as possible. If you're looking to build muscle, if you're looking to build size, this is not the time to be dieting down, restricting yourself, holding back on everything. This is the time to be fueling your body right and make sure you are recovering your muscles to the best of your ability. This is my first mistake when I was trying to build my glutes and overall just trying to build muscle as a whole. I was training super hard in the gym, almost 6 days a week, and I wasn't seeing results. I was under fueling my body, eating maybe 1,500 calories at most. I thought, oh wow, I can build muscle, but I don't need the food. I had a fear of gaining weight, and therefore it was hindering me from actually achieving real results. And that helped me start to see results with my glute growth was gaining a little bit of weight. And that is okay. You are in a building season. You're trying to put on size. As you gain weight, it's not gonna be just fat, especially if you're training hard, focusing on recovery and making nutrition a top priority, you're gonna be building some muscle. So kind of just throw the scale out, is my opinion, during a building season because it's gonna go up and that is expected. But so are those muscles that you're trying to build. Next, when it comes to nutrition, the top thing you need to be eating is protein. Not just any protein, high quality, bioavailable protein, meaning protein you can digest, absorb, and utilize to build and repair your muscles. While you can do this on a vegetarian diet, I do recommend eating as much animal sources of protein as possible, as they are complete proteins, meaning they have all the essential amino acids. If you're gonna be doing it following a vegetarian or vegan diet, educate yourself. Learn how to create complete proteins and make sure you are getting all essential amino acids, especially leucine, which is critical for building muscle. Protein is one of the most essential components when it comes to building and repairing our muscles. So if we're hitting our glutes hard in the gym, but we come home and don't eat for hours, your recovery is just gonna be hindered, repair is gonna be hindered, and therefore your growth is gonna be hindered. So hit your target protein each and every day. Use supplemental protein as needed, but if you can get them from whole food sources, of course, that should be your first priority. Now, this tip was honestly one of the hardest ones for me to swallow. Overtraining. I was hitting the gym like 6 days a week trying to build size. All I was doing was putting my body under tremendous amounts of stress and not allowing it to recover and repair. Do you remember earlier in this video when I said you break your muscles down in the gym, but you actually build them when you sleep and you recover and you rest? If you don't give your body optimal time to recover and rest, you're never actually gonna build any size. You're just gonna keep breaking them down. If you do get any size, you're only making that progress slower and more painful than it really needs to be. Drop my training sessions way down to 4 days a week. Now, typically I'll do 2 upper body, 2 lower body, but when I'm trying to build my glutes, I might do 1 upper body, 2 full leg days, and 1 total body with a small focus on glutes. Therefore, I'm gonna be hitting glutes at least 3 times a week in a very strategic manner. You wanna also hit your glutes in all ranges of motion. So you don't wanna just be doing hip thrust or just be doing split squats or lunges. You wanna include a variation of each range of motion. So typically what I include is 1 squat variation, 1 lunge variation, 1 deadlift variation, and 1 hip thrust variation. And this typically keeps me pretty well rounded so that I'm hitting my glutes to the best of my ability, and then I divide that up throughout the week. For example, I might have a heavy squat day one day and more of a volume hip thrust, and then the next day I might do a heavy hip thrust and more of a volume squat variation. I actually do have an online program focused on glute growth, so if you're not really sure how to periodize your programming to optimize glute growth, in the description section below, there's a link to purchase that program. Next tip is go to the gym and focus on getting stronger. I know our primary goal is hypertrophy, so growing the size of our muscle. But when you focus on getting stronger, the size is gonna come. If you go to the gym and your only focus is to get a glute pump every time you go and you're not actually progressing in strength, you're probably not gonna get the results you actually want to get. When I changed gears with my primary goal being strength, I saw 10 times more results. Instead of focusing just getting a pump and getting out and doing the numbers and getting it done, but instead focus on improving each and every session, whether it was getting stronger with a lift in a lower rep range or maybe doing a little bit more volume, going a couple extra reps. You need to focus on progression and utilizing progressive overload. Last mistake I made when trying to grow my glutes was not focusing on my technique and form. I would just do a hip thrust to do a hip thrust. I was using my lower back, my feet were too close, I would really get my quads engaged. I wasn't focusing on utilizing my glutes in the lift. If you're hitting a lift and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it or just doing it to get the weight up, does not mean you are optimally using the muscles you should be using to get that weight there. Instead, start a little bit lighter. Make sure you feel it in the muscles you are trying to utilize. Create that mind-muscle connection so that each rep you're doing, you are connecting to your glutes, you're making sure they're activated, and you're optimizing that breakdown so that you can recover once you get home. I've been trying to grow my glutes over the past 5 years, and it's been a slow process. Especially because I compete, so I'm going in and out of build and cutting phases, which I'll show with you guys here. I have built my glutes slightly slower than I would like. I'm currently doing my first full year of building. I'm really hoping to optimize my glute growth this year with being a full year in a build, not building myself up to break myself back down so quickly. I hope you guys found these tips helpful. That's all I have for you today. If you like today's video and you want to stay up to date on all things training, nutrition, fitness tips and tricks, be sure to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner, and thanks again for watching.